Hi everyone, in this video I will explain what the famous GAMSAT is, and I'll also go over some important details about what to expect on the day and so on. So if you're looking to find out more about this, you've come to the right place. So the Graduate Medical School Admission Test is an exam coordinated by the Australian Council for Education Research, also known as ASA. This is a test required for applications to all but one graduate entry medical course in Australia, as well as other dentistry, optometry, and podiatry courses. So the exam is designed to assess your analytical and critical thinking skills, as well as your ability to organise and communicate your ideas in order to select candidates for graduate entry medical studies. So by the end of this video, we will have gone over the purpose of the GAMSAT, how to apply for it, the eligibility for the GAMSAT, the validity of your results, some quick changes they made in the past 2 years, the exam structure, what to expect on the day, and then we'll talk about theory versus problem-based learning and the universities that require the GAMSAT, and also some GAMSAT preparation materials that are available to you. So what is the purpose of the GAMSAT? Overall, the GAMSAT assesses analytical and critical thinking skills, and also the ability to organise and communicate your ideas. So Section 1 evaluates a student's ability to sift through information, identify its key points, and make justifiable deductions, as is critical in the life of a medical professional. You're going to need this for the rest of your life. In Section 2, tests your ability to communicate ideas to an unknown audience under strict time pressure. And this is going to be 2 essays. And then Section 3 tests your ability to apply your learned knowledge of physiological systems to new information and data. Okay, so most of you will probably be wondering, is the GAMSAT really necessary to study medicine? In short, yeah, probably, but don't lose all hope yet. To study medicine in Australia as a graduate, you will need to complete the GAMSAT. So there are currently 13 medical schools that provide a graduate entry medical program, 12 of which require the GAMSAT exam. So these include the following unis. The exception is Monash University. So note that domestic applicants for the graduate entry medical program at Monash Uni must have completed one of the approved bachelor degrees at Monash University. However, there are also undergraduate pathways to medicine, which means straight from high school. You don't have to have a bachelor degree. In which case, you need to sit the UCAT exam. So many ask if the UCAT is actually harder than the GAMSAT, and the general consensus is that the GAMSAT is harder than the UCAT. So the GAMSAT is 3 times longer, the UCAT does not have any assumed knowledge, there are no essays in the UCAT, it is more structured and easier to prepare for. For more information, you should check our UCAT versus GAMSAT guide online. Personally, I took the BMAT in year 12, which is very similar to the UCAT, and this was for universities like Oxford in the UK. I also took the GAMSAT and found it easier than the BMAT. However, I am not sure I would say the same thing if I had taken both at the same time. For me, I think the fact that the GAMSAT was longer and I had gone through an undergraduate degree, meaning that I was more mature and had more knowledge in general, allowed me to be more comfortable while I was sitting the exam. But this is mostly about your personal experience and your personal preferences and whether or not you feel ready for this particular path. So if you do decide to take the GAMSAT, here's how you apply for it. The GAMSAT is offered twice a year, once in March and once in September. So the official ASA website has more exact information regarding registration dates, requirements, and fees to sit the exam. So there are different fees associated with completing the GAMSAT, so make sure you check those out early on so you don't miss out on anything. To apply for the GAMSAT, students must do it directly through the ASA website by creating an account and providing an email address. So make sure to check that out as well. Unfortunately, not everyone can sit the GAMSAT. you are eligible to sit it if you have completed a bachelor or undergraduate honours degree, or if you will be in the penultimate or final year of your degree at the point of taking the exam. That means if you're in a bachelor degree, you can take the GAMSAT in year 2 or in year 3, or after you finish that. In almost all cases, you can sit the GAMSAT and be accepted into a medical school if you have studied an undergraduate degree in a non-scientific field, although this requires you to do a little bit more work to prepare for the GAMSAT, as one of the sections is fully scientific. So only the University of Queensland actually requires certain subjects or equivalents as prerequisites, and you can find more information on their website. So there is no fast rule concerning your GPA to sit the GAMSAT, but a GPA of 6.0 and above is extremely beneficial, given medical schools consider both your GPA and GAMSAT score when deciding whether to offer you an interview or not. Okay, so you've registered and you've sat the exam. What happens after that? As of November 2022, your GAMSAT results are now valid for 4 years. This change is also backdated, so you could use your previous GAMSAT scores to apply within 4 years of your sitting date. For instance, if you sat the GAMSAT in 2019, you could still use it for medical school's application in 2023 with a 2024 start. This is specific to Australian medical schools, so the details may differ for students based in the UK. So due to COVID-19, a lot of changes to the GAMSAT format have been implemented in the past few years. So the exam has moved from a paper format to a digital format from 2020 onwards. And also, as I've mentioned, the results are now valid for 4 years. All right, let's go into more detail regarding each section of the exam. When you get to the centre, you'll go through a series of admin processes and you'll be allocated a seat and a computer while you will take the exam. That will take approximately 1 hour, and you'll stay in that computer for the rest of the day. So don't worry about having to move your things around. You'll always go back to the same seat. Then section 1 starts. You'll be faced with 62 MCQs, which you will have to answer in 92 minutes after having 8 minutes of reading time. Then immediately after the section is over, section 2 starts, and you will have to write 2 essays in 60 minutes after 5 minutes of reading time. Once that is over, you will get a 60-minute lunch break and then back to your computer for section 3. This section is made up of 75 MCQs, which will have to be answered in 145 minutes with 8 minutes of reading time. So section 1 tests your interpretation and understanding of concepts in a cultural and social context. It involves responding to various different types of texts, from fiction and poetry to cartoons. Section 2 provides you with a distinct set of prompts, generally quotes, that relate to a common theme to use as the basis of your response. The 2 essays are usually differentiated on the basis of their focus. The first one typically deals with social-cultural issues, while the second one tends to deal with personal and social issues. Finally, section 3 is going to test your reasoning and problem-solving skills within a scientific context. It is composed of 40% biology, 40% chemistry, and 20% physics. So ASA randomly allocates candidates to testing venues and sessions in their selected test centre location. If COVID-19 restrictions are in place, don't worry if the exam can no longer be conducted at an allocated test centre. ASA will contact all affected candidates by email with further instructions. I believe that in 2021 something like that happened and they just had to take it at home wherever they were in their computers. Although the total testing time is 5.25 hours, students should expect to be at the testing centre for at least 8 hours due to the breaks and other admin reasons. In fact, I got there at 8 a.m. and I ended up leaving at 4 p.m. When sitting the exam, you will also be allowed 2 pieces of paper per session, and that is great, especially for section 2 and section 3, where you actually need to draft things. So section 2, it is great to plan your essay before you write it, and using that paper is a great way to do it. And during section 3, you definitely need to make some calculations and write formulas, so you can use those 2 pieces of paper as you wish. You should also make sure you have the correct form of identification documents with you at all times, as well as your admission ticket. That's their way of knowing that you are where you're supposed to be. Although this seems like a lot, and it is, I assure you that on the day, it all goes by so fast, and it is very, very straightforward. There will always be someone there that you can ask things you are unsure of. So if you have a doubt, don't hesitate, raise your hand and ask. Remember to take some snacks as well for your lunch break. Your brain is going to need all the energy it can get. So you've seen that the GAMSAT is not a common exam. The GAMSAT is focused on examining your reasoning and problem-solving skills, rather than your recall of specific contents. You'll be faced with advanced level novel content designed to assess your reasoning skills. So the questions will probably be something you have never seen before, but that you can actually apply because everything will be written on the stem. So the GAMSAT is entirely different to a typical university assessment, and as such, your preparation should adapt accordingly. A common error for students is to prepare for the GAMSAT as though it were a knowledge-based test. It is not a knowledge-based test. Your focus should be on how you apply your knowledge. Of course, you need the foundation content. You need to know that basic knowledge that you can apply. However, that should not be the focus of your preparation, especially if you have been through a scientific undergraduate degree. So to help you through this preparation, we have some courses that could benefit you. Our GAMSAT preparation courses usually focus on building that foundational content and then honing on how to best apply that knowledge in the GAMSAT environment. So we focus on problem-based learning whilst letting you familiarize yourself with the question formats and build up strategies. You can sign up for a GAMSAT free trial, which includes 50 MCQs from our intelligent MCQ bank, access to our week-by-week study guide for each section, and a wealth of our GAMSAT resources, including recorded webinars. We also have an online exam system that mimics the actual exam, so you can familiarize yourself with the format. You can experience it for free by also signing up for a free trial, and that includes 40 MCQs, or by signing up for any of our paid courses, which gives you access to 8 online exams. So I hope this enlightened some of your doubts and provided you with a little more knowledge about the GAMSAT. It is always important to know everything about the exam you're going to take so you can give your best on the day and have no surprises. Good luck with your preparations, and thanks for watching.